we have the use of a lot of chemicals. And then finally, the social and demographic factors. So these are broad things that have changed over time, and we can document from many publications that sperm counts have gone really down. In fact, the figures are, they were about 103 or to 110, thereabouts, million sperms per mil. And this has gone down in some of the published work to about, some places up to about 60. Huge, halved the level of low sperm counts.
40-year-old George, not his real name, knows all too well about having low sperm count.
I didn't believe it in the first place. So, fine, the result came in, they said the problem was from me. But still, I had doubt. I wanted to try another facility. So I had to try another facility again. And the result that came out, so it really, really got to me. I was like, hey, then what will I do? Because we've not had any plans of maybe adopting or, yeah. So it's like, I was really, 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 really down. Yeah, I was really, really, really down. I didn't know how to break the news to my parents and stuff. My mom especially. Hey, George, that went out with me, Nana, me.
But is all hope lost for men who suffer from low sperm count?
We do think that it has to do to a large extent with changing lifestyle. So the men undergo a lot of stressful lifestyle now. Our diet, you see, in the past it used to be a lot of organic, now we're eating a lot more of processed food, and that has translated to a lot more of chronic medical problems, diabetes, hypertension, the increase in smoking, and then alcohol consumption.
Dr. Promise Afoga is a lead obstetrician gynecologist at Shade Healthcare.
If it's just a slight reduction in the number of sperm cells, we use medications to boost it. If just a slight decline in the percentage of those that are making a forward linear progressive swimming movement, we use some medications to improve that. In those that are moderate, it's not so bad, then we have a place for what we call intrauterine insemination, where we take the sperm, process it, concentrate it, and then when the eggs are ready, we inject the sperm right inside here. So you can see we have reduced the distance the sperm would have to struggle to travel. We bring it all the way here, and it just makes a little shorter journey to meet up with the egg here. In those cases where the sperm count is extremely low, or it is moderately low, but the other interventions have not worked, then that is when we consider the use of assisted reproductive technology. And in this case, if it's a male factor, then we consider the ICSI, which is referred to as the intracytoplasmic sperm injection. But in the case where the sperm count is extremely low, we call severe oligospermia, in that case, we have to go the extra step of physically injecting the sperm into the egg in order for it to be able to fertilize.
Another contributing factor to the fertility crisis is women putting their fertility on hold.
Yes, I will. I'll freeze my eggs, and then when I'm ready, I'll unfreeze it and have my children.
I would. I mean, why not? It's my decision. Like I said, 21st century.
Sure, why not? I'll go for that.
The answer is no different for 24-year-old biomedical scientist Hilary Osei, who has her eyes set on her PhD, which on average may take up to 8 years to complete.
All women have a biological clock, And the realization of that is very scary. What if I don't find someone? What if I put my childbirth on hold rather because of my career and I'm not able to? What do I do? It's a very scary situation and it's a lose-lose situation for me. So for now, if I should have a child, it will be very chaotic because I'm not ready for it and I will need extra hands for that. I think egg freezing gives me that power as a woman to own my life and decide when I want to have a child. So I want to champion all women to take their own lives, decide on what they want, and when they are ready to have a child, then they do so.
As a matter of fact, every woman deserves choices, and there's no way their biological clock should restrict these choices. Fortunately, the advancement in science and technology gives us the ability to do this, so that we can freeze your eggs and you go ahead and fly high in your career. When you're ready for us, we're happy to use healthy young eggs to have you your biological babies. When the woman thinks that Mr. Right hasn't really shown up yet, or woman is extremely career oriented and thinks that by 35 she's not likely to be settled to have babies, she still wants to fly high, achieve a bit more of alphabet by her name, we say there's the option to freeze the eggs. That is what then we call the fertility preservation. Before 40, before 35, actually the earlier the better, because like I said, the egg quality declines from 35 a lot more rapidly. So then we can then do what we call stimulation, where she develops multiple number of eggs, because typically the woman would release one egg naturally every cycle. But in order for us to get more than one to freeze, we put her on some medication injections. So we can have maybe 10, 12 in one ovary, another 10, 12 in one. When they develop, then we harvest them in a process called ultrasound guided oocyte retrieval. We take all of them out and then we freeze. So if this woman is today 34 years and hopes to be ready for childbirth at say age 40, 41, by then we still have 34-year-old eggs, which are a lot healthier than if she had waited till she wants to start at that advanced age.
Egg freezing has emerged as an empowering option for women who are eager to preserve their fertility, allowing them to focus on their careers, pursue further education, and delay pregnancy for a period of time. It remains to be seen how well people would accept this not so popular process, but the conversation around egg freezing has already opened a healthy dialogue about reproductive health, fertility, and women's rights. The presence of fibroids can have a direct impact on a woman's fertility and her ability to achieve a successful pregnancy.
Your tummy becomes big and people think you are pregnant.
Jackie, not her real name, tells me about what led to her diagnosis.
I found out 3 years ago. I was in Kumasi at that time. I went for a cousin's wedding. I was the bridesmaid. But then that day, I got my menses the day before the wedding. And the second day, I bled a lot. I was changing my pad 10 times. Yeah, that day, and it was very heavy.
She shares some of her symptoms.
Difficulty in breathing, you walk a little and you are tired, you are panting. Yeah, and all those are the symptoms of the signs of the low HB. Yeah, so basically, yeah, that's an abdominal pain during menstruation. With that particular day, I really bled a lot. It was like a tap flow.
When it started, I was told that it's too small, so I can keep it. I kept it. In 6 years' time, my stomach bloated. I was having severe symptoms. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't, I bleed so much. Sometimes in a month, I bleed for about 17 days, 20 days, just bleeding. I was white. And I kept on reporting this to the doctor.
Elizabeth Korasar is the Executive Director of Fibroid Foundation Africa.
Most women have fibroid without knowing it. In fact, about 80% of the cases affect women below the ages of 45 years. Amfuaga Catholic Hospital decided to do mass screening. That was in November 2022. And the mass screening was for 10 days. And within the 10 days, 146 women presented themselves for the mass screening. That was within the 10 days. And out of the 146 women who presented themselves for the mass screening, there were over 88 people who had fibroids. It's so prevalent, it's so common.
So what are fibroids?
Fibroids are a common cause of heavy menstrual bleeding and also painful menstrual bleeding. And sometimes it causes what we call intermenstrual bleeding. The woman has her period, and before it is time for the next one, she sees bleeding again. So in between the cycles. Not all the fibroids require treatment. If somebody has fibroids and it's not causing any problems, it's not so big, we just monitor it. Every twice in a year, we repeat the scan to see, is it growing bigger? Is it putting pressure on any major organ? Is it having any effect? If not, we just monitor. We don't do anything. Then those in whom it's causing a lot of pain, either pain during the menses or even outside the menses, then they require pain medication as and when. And then if it's making them bleed heavy, but not so heavy, then there is place to replace the blood they are losing. So it is only when it is extremely problematic, when it is so huge, like what we just removed. In this case, the fibroid has made the uterus about 30-week size, pregnant. That's about 8 or so months pregnancy size. So that one, and then also because of the location, fibroids located right inside the cavity. We call it a submucosal one. And then also being in the way of pregnancy, making her bleed excessively with lots of clots every month, to the extent that her blood level became so low, she became anemic. Then that is a candidate who needs the fibroid removed.
Surgery is still underway, and luckily Dr. Safoga and his team has been able to remove all the fibroids from this lady. Now, let me just show you how small and tiny this fibroids can start off as. Something as small as a grain of sand. You can even barely see it on your screen, but this is what they can start off as, and gradually they begin to grow into sand and a grain of rice and some lemon. Let me just show you here another of those fibroids I was taking out from this woman, and they can grow into massive sizes. Look at the size of that. Now this is what we call a fibroid. This is a tumor that grows and feeds on some treatment options there. Getting fibroids or being diagnosed with fibroids is not the end of the world. There are several treatment options available to you. And so see your service health provider to discuss what treatment options are available to you, and you will go on to have a full recovery from your fibroids. Now the question remains, is all hope lost for couples who are unable to conceive after years of trying? We all know about the assisted reproductive techniques, the most popular of them being IVF. IVF simply translates to fertilization outside the body in test tubes. This baby-making method was made popular after the birth of Louise Brown in Oldham, England in 1978. 44 years later, millions of babies have been birthed through this method. Fast forward to today, another kind of assisted reproduction is on the rise and gaining grounds in Ghana. Third-party reproductive procedures. This involves sperm and egg donations.
If you are short of blood, you are bleeding from something, you go to hospital, you need blood, we have blood donation program. So we have egg donation, we have sperm donation.
Dr. Kinakulabi has been into fertility medicine over the past 3 decades and says sperm donation as well as egg donation is on the rise in Ghana.
We can't create the egg itself, and now it's not there. And any egg will do. It doesn't matter it's a white man's egg entering the black body. No, it will do. I have a list of 26, and more than half, if I can count, more than half are for gamete donation.
Though the process of egg donation is much more complicated, Dr. Labi says more and more women are willing to donate eggs.
Let's start with the egg donation. It's commoner there. It's commoner there. And they go through IVF. Some people have gone through IVF, that is getting eggs from themselves. We call them self. They get the IVF, we stimulate them to produce a lot of eggs, put them in a plate, a petri dish. It used to be the test tube, but now it's a plate, small plate, called a petri dish. Then we try to sort out the eggs one by one.
Curtis Jackson, not his real name, has been donating sperm to help couples struggling to conceive. He tells me what led him to begin donating sperm.
I had a couple of friends in the university, and I wanted to know how they got their money and stuff, because they always look good and okay, so they introduced me to them. Well, I donate every week, so let's say every week 2,500 Ghana cedis a week. Well, as long as we have surrogative mothers, I think sperm donation is real as hell. So some also, not the fact that some need children or something, and not the fact that I also need the money as well. I think I'm helping the society.
The financial advantage is more than enough motivation for him.
Well, I'm doing God's work because I think He said we should fill the earth, and I feel it for people with the less, and people who don't have children and stuff. So sometimes I feel like I also have to do something to help. That's what heroes do. They always put other people's needs before them. So I'm not saying I'm a hero though, but I feel like doing it.
Well, all hope is not lost for couples who are unable to